Welcome back to my Sunday FUNDAY book review. I wanted to say on a side note before I start my book reviews today that I have not uploaded for 3 weeks now, and I do apologize sincerely. I'm sorry, I've just been a little bit caught up with myself and personal things going on, but I'm uploading this one on Saturday to make up for the lack of not uploading for the last couple of weeks. And I will be uploading another one tomorrow, which will be Sunday. So I'll be back on schedule for the Sunday FUNDAY book review. I wanted to say to my Playboy peeps and the Playboy fans out there, I am working on getting some Playboy related topics for books, and I'm just waiting on those. So those are just taking some time, but in the meantime, I decided to buy these two screenplays here. Seven Devils and Squirrels. Peter Natale wrote these both these gems, and I was very intrigued by Seven Devils when I was looking online, and I've been getting into screenplays lately, so I decided, well, hey, this book in the screenplay format is only $7, which I thought the price point is fantastic for that. And I think books should be a little bit more cheaper in those price ranges. I think it's quite affordable, this book. And if you're wondering where I got this on Amazon. So it was only about $7, roughly. Seven Devils by Peter Natale. I know the way I'm doing this, it almost looks like I'm sponsored, but by any means it's not. But something I stumbled upon, which was very interesting. The description I would like to read to you before I get into my thoughts and review on it. So, Jonathan Hunter, a 30-year-old, mild-mannered history professor at the University of Virginia, delivers a lecture on European immigration to America from the 1800s through the mid-1920s. He informs students that 40% of present-day Americans can trace their roots back to Europe. A student asks Jonathan, can he trace his roots back to Europe? Jonathan explains that he was adopted at an early age and was never inclined to pursue the identity of his biological parents. The student challenges Jonathan to research his biological parents, and he reluctantly does so. He learns they were Native American Cherokee, mysteriously killed during a snowstorm in the mountains of Seven Devils, North Carolina, that locals believe to be haunted. Eager for more information, Jonathan meets with a local Native American with a sixth sense. He is given a storytelling ring and told the answers he seeks only to be found in the land of his people. Jonathan's journey to a secluded lodge in Seven Devils to research his biological identity. The storytelling ring triggers a series of visions whereby Jonathan learns the story of a sinister Civil War preacher and finds himself embroiled in a life and death struggle with restrictions, corpse of the preacher, Anyway, zombie-like creature intent on fulfilling his dying vow. Now, the back does not really give its justice onto what the story is. I will give a better look at this for you guys. I found this to be a very good mystery slash thriller slash horror movie, and it even says on the back, if you are a fan of films like Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and I Know What You Did Last Summer, Seven Devils will be a great read for you. Now, when reading this, I definitely did get the impression, among the lines, it kind of reminded me of I Know What You Did Last Summer. And also, while reading it throughout, it also reminded me of a smaller, more independent film called 9 Lives. But anyway, Seven Devils was very interesting. He goes into this secluded lodge and cabin out in the woods, and there's these crazy snowstorms that just kind of pile up throughout in front of the house, pardon me. So the snowstorm is kind of encaving everyone inside the house, which I thought was very good. And you can read this, and really it's like reading a movie, which, screenplay, but I thought it was fantastic the way this was written out. The character is Native American, and these are the kind of roles that I'm pretty much preaching about all the time and telling people, in the world of Hollywood business and movie production wise, that these kind of characters should be more sought out when making a character of Native American descent. So, enough of my rambles on that, but this was exactly what I was thinking of when I'm saying more tradition or non-traditional natives and more modern natives for roles in Hollywood, which some of them are very cliche, but I'm not going to get into that. But this did not have that essence to it, which I was very impressed by Seven Devils, because the characters throughout it, like Miss Marlowe, I want to say reminds me of someone that I know. Very much so. I can almost hear this woman in town, like her voice playing in my head as I'm reading this, because she very much reminds me of the character Miss Marlowe in this, and I am very excited to kind of talk about this, because it's more of an unknown script and book, I should say, by an independent author, and I'll read the biography on Peter Natale here. Peter Natale lives in Florida with his wife, Rebecca. He's a retired public school teacher and wrestling coach. When not spending time with his grandchildren, he's writing. Seven Devils is one of several original screenplays he has written. He can be contacted at Natale_P@yahoo.com. #hustle. I like that. He really is trying to get himself out there, I think. And this was very well written. It gave a very fast-paced energy to the screenplay. It wasn't to the point where it was dragging on and on and on. It's over 100 pages, this screenplay, Seven Devils. I really like the fact that Jonathan's character, and it was not like your traditional characters that you see being portrayed in television or movies. This Seven Devils is an original screenplay, and I highly recommend it. And for the price point, I mean, you can't really go wrong for $7. I mean, this will definitely entertain you if you're a fan of horror movies or just even suspenseful books in general. So Peter Natale gets a 4 out of 5 in this, and I will dive into it a little bit without giving out too much of the information on Seven Devils. Now, I was trying to gather my thoughts and say the back description is not really giving justice to the book in general inside, because I found it to be like a very much a mystery mixed with a little bit of horror. You know, kind of almost reminds you of those serial killers in the late 90s and early 2000s being portrayed in movies where they kind of have, like, you know, like Ghostface has a mask, or they have some kind of commercial marketing gimmick, and this kind of has a shadow man throughout the book, and I really like that part. Besides the fact that it's written well and it doesn't portray natives as your stereotype that you see, but it is very well written, and this is the characters I've been preaching about forever, and I really hope you do go and get this, because this is definitely worth the price point and the entertainment you get out of it. The entertainment value is awesome. I really like this. Now, there's a couple of characters in it. They're stuck in a cabin. They're locked up because of the snowstorm. There's a tornado made of snow, and it only comes around every so often. And each of these characters in it, like Miss Marlowe and Bryce, I wanted to say that I could definitely play Bryce out of all characters, which is pretty ironic, because Jonathan's character is a Native American, which I am as well, half Native, and I figured, well, just being honest, I don't think I could really play the Jonathan character, because I just don't think I would have that appeal for the audience to really resonate with, and I believe in the world of acting you should make it as believable, of course, as possible. So I think the Bryce character in there is the one I for sure would love to play if this ever gets turned into a movie. How you doing, Ron Bonk? Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering, Killcast is now officially on DVD on Amazon. I wanted to mention that before I get into my next book review by Peter Natale, but yes, Killcast is out on DVD. I really hope you go and grab a copy and maybe even tell me what it's like in your spare time. So, yes, they're stuck in this cabin. There's only a couple of, I want to say, 6 characters in general in total, so they're stuck in the cabin. They're kind of waiting for this crazy snowstorm to kind of tie over so that they can leave after their vacation. And Miss Marlowe in the book, she is kind of like a modern Airbnb where people can come up, visit the cabin, and of course all these crazy events with the Shadow Man and follow everybody throughout the whole, I want to say movie, book form. They follow, the Shadow Man basically follows them throughout the whole entire script, and very suspenseful, very impactful, I should say. I'm trying to get my words out tonight, but yes, this was fantastic, Seven Devils. I really hope that you guys go and get a copy of Seven Devils. Not sponsored by any means, but yeah, this was definitely worth it. Now I want to get into his other book, because when I seen he wrote this one, I was intrigued to see if he wrote any other screenplays, and ironically he did. He only wrote 2 screenplays in total, which on the back it says one of several, which means more than 3. So I'm hoping that he does release more, because these are fantastic. And I would like to say, before I get into Squirrels, I was mentioning that Seven Devils would be a good, I want to say, movie for SRS, but I want to take that back. I want to say that this here would be more up SRS Cinema's level of entertainment. Squirrels. He wrote another. This one's more of a comedy thriller, if you will. His second book, Squirrels. So Squirrels was a comedy I very much enjoyed. It was very intriguing. The description of the book, when I was looking to buy it, I was going, this already sounds like a good time. I mean, it's about crazy killer squirrels. I mean, I'm already intrigued. So, anyways, I'll read the back of this one. This one has a bit more shorter of a back description, and I did get a little bit tongue-tied reading the other one. I do apologize. This one, I will read the back as it goes. The prestigious art festival and miniature golf tournament of a small yet wealthy and fashionable Central Florida city finds itself under attack by crazy squirrels, or crazed squirrels led by Big Red, the most dangerous and deadly squirrel known to man. The city faces financial disaster unless the chief of police, who suffers an intense fear of rodents, can stop the onslaught. It's Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds meets Steven Spielberg's Jaws. Now, this one for sure I could see being in a small, high-end prestige town in Florida, and it all starts out with this woman jogging down the street in a Wonder Woman costume, ironically. She's running down the street, doing her jogging exercises, and then she sees this big crazed squirrel in the bush, and she's in fear for her life, and it was hilarious. And so the local mayor is kind of in a small town setting, like it said, in Florida, and you could tell that this would be almost a 90s comedy if this was released in the 90s, Squirrels. This one was also $7 as well. I thought this was great. Fantastic. Now, this one gets a 4 out of 5. It got very much into it, very fast paced. You can tell that the characters got very much more intriguing each page, and there was a couple stoner characters in there that were just kind of like, smoking weed throughout it, just kind of wondering if these crazy squirrels are really actually happening. And so throughout the whole thing, the mayor, certain locals in the town are afraid of these squirrels, and they just happen to be going rampant at all sorts of places throughout the city. They're being reported by cops, and it was a very good comedy. I usually only like to recommend books that I would like to think that are worthy of your time, or maybe controversial, or stuff like that. So I would only recommend this because it is fantastic. Squirrels as well. This one was a 4.5 out of 5, like I said. Very much more well written than Seven Devils, not to discredit Seven Devils, because I gave that a 4 out of 5, but Squirrels was more of a fast pace. You could really get into the comedy, and it was a very light-hearted comedy as well. I like the fact that at the beginning there's this teacher, and she has this little boy that's obsessed with her, going, no, marry me, you won't be lonely. And it was hilarious. The ending was very much touching. I won't, of course, give away the ending, but it was hilarious to envision that all these crazy squirrels are attacking these prestige, wealthy people in a small town in Florida. I mean, I think SRS would have a hit on their hands, if they go and get a copy and read it for themselves. This would definitely be an instant classic if they both were made into movies, Seven Devils and Squirrels, because I did like both of them. I hope you guys go and get them because they are fantastic. And I keep going on about the price point. I mean, you really cannot beat the price point for what you are paying. They were both $7 a piece. And I would like to think that Seven Devils would be kind of like a classic independent film or a classic independent horror movie. When I read Seven Devils, all I can envision is that, you know, there's this crazy snowstorm and it's made of a tornado and it's kind of like haunting the area with the shadow man, and you can really see the setting, and it would really kind of remind you of I Know What You Did Last Summer, but it has its own flavor to it with their own characters, which I found fantastic. Now I hope Peter Natale writes more of these, and I've been very much getting into movie script books. They're very interesting, and I like supporting independent authors because I feel like, you know, the big guys, they get tons of fans and tons of money, so it's really not a bother to them if I do a little review on my Dog and Pony show. So both of these would recommend. They're both on Amazon. Of course, one with my Prime membership, they got here pretty quick. You know, before I end this, I wanted to say, please again, go get a copy of Killcast on DVD. I will be in it. I have a small role. I really do carry that film, let's be honest. I'm just playing, guys. So tune in to my next book review, which will be tomorrow. I will be uploading it for just the lack of uploads, and I do apologize. It will not be happening again, so please check my next upload tomorrow, which will be my next Sunday FUNDAY book review, and I'll be reviewing a more political, controversial book, so don't be hating on me now. So tune in next time, and after my political book, I will be sticking to the Sunday FUNDAY book review Playboy themed episodes from now on. I found a couple more books that I think you Playboy fans will find intriguing, so I will mention them, of course, when I'm on here in my next episode. And thank you for tuning in. And again, I really hope you guys go get Seven Devils and Squirrels by Peter Natale. Very much a good time for $7. It's like a riot in a book. You cannot go wrong for $7. I mean, cheap, and I don't think they even make books as cheap as these anymore. But I'm thankful, and I'm glad I stumbled upon these two books, I should say, because it always happens at the most funniest times. I just randomly research books and I find the coolest ones to talk about. So tune in next time, and I'll be doing my episode for tomorrow. And I just wanted to say, Killcast DVD, get yourself a copy. Thanks again, everybody.